Hello. Welcome. I'm playing around with some of the 42 patches that come with the Unify Demo. So welcome, my name is John Skippy Limcool. I own PlugInGuru.com, and I am thrilled to say that as of today, if you're watching this video, 1.0.9 is out of Unify, which simplifies some of the things in the installation. There's no new features. That's coming in the next update. We're working on some really, really cool stuff for that. But we simplify the installation to where it's simply running this updater. And if you're running Unify for the first time to install the full version, you install this first, you install this second, you run the Unify standalone. I'm gonna hit cancel because I have the demo version running. And then you just drag the Unify factory content right here and it will install. And the demo version is really cool in that it gives you access to all of the built-in synthesizers that come along with Unify that we have right here. It has the effects that we have added to Unify. Like this one patch right here is using digits with an analog synth, along with our Guru sampler and MDA DX10, which is a 2-operator FM synth. None of that has to matter to you because you just click over here and hit play. And it works. Go, I want some ham bells. Right? So we have it designed where it calls up, it has patches, and then all you have to do is go add an empty layer. Say I want to add serum to this. So go to Extra Records, add serum, and maybe I want to go to one of my libraries and add some sort of really cool, let's go to like Epic and go to like some bell type of things. So here's, this is just Unify by itself. And then here's, and the two together. So it's very powerful and addicting to have all of your plugins that you can now work with together. So all of your effects work inside of here. If you're curious how it works, all you have to do is hit this little plugin button, hit scan for audio units, VST or VST3. It will pop up, say, do you want to do, and these are the locations it's going to scan at. If you're on a PC, let me stop our delay. It's just weirdly feeding back in the background. But you'd go over here and you could choose right here. The other way to get plugins into Unify is to simply, let's see if I go here. I can go to components and I could say Z3TA, add that by click and drag and over the known plugin window. Now I can go over here and that should show up right here. Oh, I don't know for sure where it is. So let's do this. I'm going to go to, this is the subsets and go Z3TA. It's Cakewalk. Okay. So now I know. Now I know where to find it. I love that ability to be able to do that. So go over here, all instruments, Cakewalk, Z3TA. There it is. Right? So I just loaded an audio unit plugin into Unify and I'm immediately using it. I don't have to restart. It's a good time. When you first run Unify standalone, you can hit the settings and go right here to your audio MIDIs. Here's what your audio output is, your different MIDI hardware that might be connected. Make sure this little checkbox standalone because I want to show you the intro page here for the demo. Here's the intro page for the demo. And as you can see, we have a little welcome. Thank you for trying out Unify. This is the free version. It has 42 patches. The full version has 426 patches. The sound stops after 15 minutes. It doesn't save. There's no code inside of it to save. In fact, the save button's now the tips button, right? We've heavily compressed the samples that are inside of Unify, and this is just a small portion of what is inside Unify standard. So there's 2.5 gigabytes in Unify standard. This is 600 megabytes compressed down to under 100 megabytes. There's certain functionality that's grayed out. There's no technical support by email. But there is tips, so you can read these tips here. There's also the online owner's manual, which If you look inside of the folder for installing the demo, right here's a link, which if you double click this, it will take you straight to the owner's manual. After you play with this, if you go, oh my gosh, this is so cool, then please come to the PlugInGuru.com website or the Ilio.com website. They are our exclusive international dealer distributors. So they will distribute and get Unify into music stores. They're dear friends of mine for many, many years and are helping me on this adventure and are going to help get the word of Unify out to lots of people. Here's where you can subscribe to the newsletter. So I would appreciate if you would subscribe so we can let you know when updates come, stuff like that happens. As you can see, I haven't updated the page yet, so it's still 1.0.6, but when this video is out, it will be at 1.0.9. Yeah, okay. So let me show you these patches. We have 15 minutes and then the audio stops. And after that, you have to quit and restart. If you hit tips, it will pop up that tip page anytime you need help, okay? Like I said, we have 7 synthesizers inside of Unify. Guru Sampler is our own. These others are free ones on the internet that we receive permission to include. They are used in our voicing so that when you get Unify and you turn it on and you install it, it comes with patches you can play. So let's go over here to the demo library. We have basses. Really cool basses. There's basses and piano splits. So I do things where like the piano sustains, but it won't pitch bend. But the bass does. There's other variations in some of these patches. This is one where there's no sustain pedal and no pitch bend. So if we go over here and we say, show MIDI layers to get a little bit wider so you can see what's going on. We have a MIDI filter that has the ability to suppress pitch bend or emulate it. It's like our arpeggiator. When we use that, sometimes we have our sustain pedal become sustained for the arpeggiator, so it will stay on with the sustain pedal. So this way, sustain in the right hand, but not in the left hand, so I can play a nice chord. If you noticed, we have a really cool feature on our modulation source for the Guru sampler. It's called lag. And if we go here to the synth part, I'm using lag on the filter cutoff. So that way, it's slowly, instead of going like that, it now has a slow envelope on it. So between Mod Wheel doing this filtering stuff, it's super, super, super cool. Really cool ambient samples. And just so you'll get an idea, the demo library has only like 3 samples in the Mega Magic Bells and Winds folder. If we go to the standard library to the Mega Magic Bells and Winds, there's all of these samples. And that's pretty much the case for each of these folders, which are each of the libraries I've released originally for Omnisphere. Most of the samples here for these various libraries were capped at 8 samples across the keyboard. That was the limit in Omnisphere. I am now free of that limit. And on keyboard mode here, we can go to piano samples that have 30 samples across the keyboard if we want, or every note across the keyboard in future libraries. Good stuff. So these are just one sample with ambience added to them so that they play across the whole range. This is using the Blue Arp, which is arpeggiator that we received permission from the developers to include inside of Unify. And it is, as you can see, because right here we've got it connected to all of these 5 layers. But I velocity windowed each of these layers to only a specific range of velocity. And so as I play, and I could go to any of these layers, replace from layer preset. We have this really cool system called layer presets, and you can make your own with your own plugins, with your own patches. So you can quickly replace it. Let's go to this and like replace it with the piano. So there's a JXAP type of sound. Let's do this. Let's go up here and add a delay to it. BPM sync. Let's add distortion. I love the power curve. Other things, this is when using velocity to switch. So instead of me using the mod wheel to change, it's automatically doing it by the velocity right here in the blue art. So if I set these all to be hard or different, I can go here to the chords. Very fun to play with. Dark retro cinema gives you really cool. It's a dystopian future. I will find you and bring you back to kill the future. All sorts of stuff. More film-esque kind of. And the OBXD is great for the big OB pads. Okay. Now this is where it gets kind of insane. Airwave did these and really opened up our eyes. He's a master. He's working on an incredible library that will be coming out soon for Unify. Here's 5 different MIDI effects of the blue art playing. Give you a cool groove and a cool synth line up here. And here's the knobs. Crazy stuff. There's another really cool progressive trance one here. We designed our own pump house, which is like an LFO tool kind of a thing, which can do the... and you can program it. You double click these to go away. And it's sample accurate, so you can do crazy. It's super fun, so play with that. One of our drum kits. Every note across the keyboard has a drum sample. Monkey Morning, this is from Costa Rica. I was there a couple years ago with my daughter. Had a great trip, recorded ambiances all over the place. I came home and ran these through my modular synth and sound designed the daylights to add pads and all sorts of stuff. So those are in the library. Retrosphere. Here's a couple of the samples from Retrosphere. There's also... Now, if you buy the full version of Unify, the standard library for Retrosphere has all of these. So there's a lot more to work with. Right? All sorts of really... Right? And this is a 64 voice little synthesizer sample player that we've designed, and it's super efficient. Guitars. For those about to rock. This is using a combination of our noise box and the clang filter, which the noise box is our own distortion effect, which you can go in and you can actually click and drag to design your own distortion wave shapes. And clang filter is a convolution reverb effect that we found and resuscitated. It had been dormant for like 7 years. And so if you have the full version of Unify, if you buy it, you get the license, you install it, you'll get a whole bunch of other distortions, like all these show up. Plus all sorts of stuff for sound design. Check this out. These are like plastic bag that I crumpled. Goes on for 5.39 seconds. I'm gonna make it shorter. So this will bring the sample to be shorter. And I'm gonna put a little bit of decay on it so it fades out. That's better. And we have really cool really cool filtering inside of Noisebox. So those are fun to play with. Here's more single samples with lots of reverb that are cool. It's a cool trick. I learned this trick. It's very old school. Single sample, tons of reverb in the sample means that it no longer is muddy when you play notes around it. Because that one sample, it's not ringing out when you play new notes. It's a new note with the recording. Oh, we just hit our 15-minute limit. So I'm gonna say, okay, there's no audio until you quit Unify and run it again. I'm gonna run the full version this time. So let's run the full version. Notice when you run it, it notices that you still have the Unify demo data. If you do that, you get duplicates of patches. You can hit okay, it will delete it. I'm gonna hit cancel because I need to keep it. Otherwise I can't show you this demo. Click right here to change back to the demo library. We were in guitars. Here's the piano by itself, not in a bass split like earlier, but just the piano by itself to play. And there's actually 3 other pianos in the full version of Unify. There's an intimate piano with reverb on it that's beautiful, lots of samples. And there's a really bright pop piano, 3 velocity layers. Really good stuff. And if you want to change the velocity curve, how these play, there's 2 places. You can change it right here per patch. Make this more velocity sensitive or less velocity sensitive. Also, if you hit the settings, both in the demo version and here, there's a velocity curve, which is the global velocity curve. So you can just go like this and bump it. This would be more the curve you want if you're playing from a weighted keyboard. I voiced it using a lightweight synth action. That's why we use the velocity curve offset. So you can just go over here and change this velocity curve if you're using a weighted keyboard. Okay. Dreamy Roads. It's got a really cool dreamy mega magic sample with a reverb plus a real Rhodes. Like if I solo right here, we have a velocity switching between Rhodes. Oh wait, it's this one and this one. This is a click. See how this is 0 to 93 and this is 94 to 127. And you see graphically over here what that looks like. And then over here, I wanted more of a cool attack. So I put a little attack sample. I have a whole folder in the full version of Unify. You only have like 4 attacks here. In the full standard version of this, the attack folder is quite huge. I included all of them because these are so cool. You could put these on the beginning of lead synth sounds from any other synthesizer you own and get really cool attacks. And put a really nice spirit on this. Lead sounds. Love lead. And with the latest update that we did, we added the mono legato and mono portamento so we can I'll turn on the keyboard so you can see what's going on. Okay, this is really awesome. This is showing 8 samples that are each one 8 voice unison from my modular synth. I showed you that lag earlier on the filter cutoff. Well, I talked to Shane Dunn, the magical programmer that put this all together with my input on what to do, and we put lag on the pitch bin too. And that makes it so that you can do these really cool. Not only that, but we also made it so that the pitch bin down and up can be different settings. So you can go. And not only that, you can play. So we also have where it's real time. Unlike a lot of synthesizers, we can do edits in real time so you hear them. So that way you can make new chords really easy by just holding the note and changing the pitch bin range, and you'll hear the result. So cool. I've made pads since Corgan 1 days, and I love pads. Right? Klamath is huge. For those of you that like, there's this pad called Battleborn I did for Mega Magic Pads. This is kind of a new take on that. This is using my Access virus and just program the biggest unison thing I could. If you move the sample start even later, really cool stuff to play with there. Let's see, we got other more complex pads. Here's a layer pad effect. 3 sounds used to make a pad. Plucks. Dream Ensemble. String pads. Here's also a really cool one. This is the Trio. This is Mega Magic cello, viola, and violin. I mean, it's 8 samples across the keyboard, right? So don't expect what you get from a full Kontakt library with 18,000 samples and 10 gigabytes of data, right? But because of the motion in the samples, it's very sweet. Came out very nice. Proud of that. Here's a really cool retro synth. Body wrap for chords. And what's fun with this is you can go to the Guru sampler and just go surfing through all the different waveforms and get all sorts of trouble. Even going to the other folders, like for like, say the pads. Let's double click to get this an octave up and move the sample start later. Like this sound doesn't need chorus. There's a chorus on this, so turn off the chorus with a little bypass button. So it's fun to play with. Here's another raw power example. Klamath, Zen Love. Right, that kind of stuff. Voices. It's one sample across the whole keyboard. But you could layer that with a voice choir and it'd be a cool added element. Pan flute. And that's just a small sampling. That's 42 patches out of 426 in the full library. So you should want this by now, I hope. Anyway, thank you for your time. Again, PlugInGuru.com, Ilio.com. You can get the demo version to try out, play with, evaluate, see how it works in your system. Be mightily impressed with all the hard work we've put into this and come by it. So thank you. And we will see you in another video as new updates and new features show up. We have such, oh my gosh, I get super excited. So thanks again. See you later.